your friends, and the other members of GIST Nation. We appreciate you for joining the party today. How are you, Jilly?
I'm good.
Jilly's good. One of these days we'll get a more normal schedule and see what happens in life, but who the hell knows? Who the hell knows what normal schedule will be? Who the hell knows what normal life is going to be?
The new normal.
I refuse to use the term new normal. I hate it. I despise the term new normal. I hate the term new normal. I hate it, hate it, hate it, hate it. Oh, guys, gotta get used to our new normal. No, I'm not gonna get used to wearing a goddamn mask into Walgreens for the rest of my life. It ain't gonna happen.
Well, some studies say we're going to be doing it for like the next 7 years.
And then, and then another study will say, they're not going to be doing it for 7 years. I despise the idea that this is the new normal. Oh, this is the new normal, everybody. The new normal. This is our new normal. That's fear porn is what that is. It's fear tactics. It's scare tactics for people. And people will go, oh, my God, this is our new norm. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. You know what's going to happen whenever this shit's over? People are going to go back to doing the same shit they've always done. They're going to go out to shaking people's hands. They're going to be out at bars. They're going to be drinking beers. They're going to be hugging people. Life will go back to what it was. The new normal would lead you to believe that, that's what I hate about this. The idea that this is the new normal would lead you to believe that forever what is happening right now is going to be what's going to continue to happen. Like, this is just the beginning of it. No, it's not. That is bogus. We'll get into that and other things, I guess. But it is completely bogus. And the idea that, like, this is I hate it in the commercials. It's like these companies love saying this. They're like, well, now that we're just in the midst of our new normal, buy our tampons. No, I don't need your shit, okay? I don't need these, like, they're getting off on this, these companies, these products, every commercial. Hey, it's the new normal. Buy the new Mazda 6. Like, stop saying this is the new normal. This is not normal. This is abnormal. This will never be normal. Nothing about this is normal. Normal is shaking someone's hand. Normal is not having to walk back from the front door of a Walmart all the way back to your car because you forgot your mask. Normal is not and will never be somebody wearing a mask with a plastic visor over the front of it and gloves at Walgreens where there are 4 people. That will never be normal. So stop telling me it is the new normal. It is not. It is abnormal, and it will always be abnormal. Thank you. Now, on a much more upbeat note, Luther got a new toy today because Luther was given a gift by Dr. Busby, who sent him a care package. He's still recovering, from whatever injury he's got. We don't really know what his injury is, but
still very hesitant.
They say that he's got a pinched nerve, allegedly. At least that's what they think. At some point, we'll probably have to get an MRI, and that'll cost me $1,000. But so throw in your bits. It could go to Luther's medical fund for whenever we have to check to see if Luther's hips are out of line or something like that. So please feel free to throw in some bits on Twitch if you'd like. But hand me this story really quick. Dr. Busby sent Luther. Listen to that. Sprinkles and it makes wacky noises. I think that this is a deer.
Yeah, I think it's a buck.
It's
Big
a
buck hunter.
Okay, or it's like or like a jackalope.
There's another toy she sent too, but we haven't gotten to that one yet. This is the one Luther grabbed right out of the box.
She also sent him some new Dr. Busby Encore Mobility, which you can get on her website, towgrips.com. And the Encore Mobility is to help your dog get around. And Luther was just cooking on this stuff. And then he must have twisted something. We don't know what he did, but he injured himself in some way. But he was cooking on Dr. Busby's Toe Grips. Rather, the Encore Mobility from Dr. Busby's Toe Grips and towgrips.com. When I tell you, man, he was cooking. Running around at the parks and swimming. He looked like a young pup again. And he will be there again, damn it. And don't you forget it. And he continues to take the Encore Mobility, which can help your dog get around better. It will help with hip and joint flexibility. It'll restore mobility and comfort, renews vigor and vitality. Great supplement that Dr. Busby is a big supporter of, and you can get that on her website, towgrips.com, as well as the aforementioned Toe Grips. Go to the site, towgrips.com. Use the promo code Luther. The promo code is Luther. 10% off site-wide, Luther, Luther, 10% off site-wide, and of course a 30-day money-back guarantee if you don't see any results. And they're wonderful about what they do. So Make sure you check them out, ToeGrips.com, Dr. Busby and Mr. Dr. Busby. They run a great website. She's got a great blog you should check out. I would urge you to check it out. Let's see. I see Give My Dogs the last of my Encore Mobility bottle just now. I'll be reopening or I'll be reordering right after the show. Well, thank you, M.W. Soulgrove. So if you guys want to place an order for anything at Dr. Busby's site, go to ToeGrips.com. That is ToeGrips.com. I urge you to check it out because she is wonderful. And the whole thing is just, they're good people. They are wonderful people over at ToeGrips.com. Now, before we get into anything else here, let me send out a tweet to let people know that we are live and well here on the Josh Ennis Show. Let's see. We are live on Twitch. Let's rock, bitches. That'll get their attention.
I bet it will.
All right, let's see here. There's going to be some women that are going to be offended, like, bitch. Who says that? Who speaks that way? Who says bitch? You're a bitch. Get out of here. Or somebody woke. Speaking of, there was a great discussion that we had on the Josh Ennis Show today, which is very rare. But we had a discussion today, and it was all brought up by Lamont, who listens to all the shows, but it led to this great discussion. So here's how it went. We were talking about the bubble and how awkward it is that they're so concerned about like the health of all of these players, yet Tillman is going to be sending, like, evidently they can just order Tillman's food, right?
Right. The delivery options are all Tillman's Landry's restaurants.
Yes. So we get into discussing this, and Lamont asks a brilliant question because this bubble, again, they're kind of trapped in this bubble. There's not a literal bubble. You know, it's not like it's the Truman Show or a snow globe, but there's a bubble that they're all stuck in. Now, it's a bubble that I think we'd all enjoy being stuck in. It's Disney World, okay? So, I mean, you'll live. But it's a bubble. And they don't want anybody going in and anybody going out because they don't want to spread the Rona, yet they can bring the food in. So knowing that this is an atmosphere that's going to have many black men trapped in this area and still being overseen by white men, the question was, which media member is going to be the first to compare the bubble to a plantation?
Oh, that's a good question.
It was a brilliant question. And I'll tell you, one of the things that we came up with the odds, and I forgot to bring them with me. I left them at the radio station, but we built the odds and everything. Who was the most likely?
Mm-hmm.
The most likely was Jamel Hill.
Oh, yeah.
Followed by, let's see, who was the other? There was Jamel Hill and Sean King were the two most likely. Then Nick Wright.
See, I think he likes basketball too much to do it.
Well, and I'm glad you bring that up because there's a lot of factors and elements that go into all of this. And it was a great discussion. So the factors and elements would include, like, it wouldn't be an ESPN person because ESPN has basketball. So even as woke as some guys might be on there, they're not dumb enough to bite the hand that feeds them, right? So they can do their whole woke stuff. But if they say the NBA is a plantation, that's bad for business, and ESPN desperately needs basketball and revenue right now. So it wouldn't be anybody from ESPN. But Nick would be on that list. Shannon Sharp was on the list. Florio was on the list. The only one from ESPN was Dan Le Batard. And the only reason I said Dan Le Batard is because, yes, he's on ESPN, but he already said today that he feels demoted by having an hour taken away from his show. He's the only guy that'll really take some shots. The management doesn't seem to actually like him, right? Because he's, his former boss got fired. He was his guy. He always seems kind of a target. And he's just woke enough to maybe do it. Like, I see people on here saying it'll be a white female. Very possible. But I don't know what white female it will be. There was also an option for the field. So anybody other than those guys. So it could have been anybody. That was plus 300.
That's a good one, though, because it might be like some no-name, journalist who's trying to make a name for it. And I will agree, herself, that wants to, get some notoriety here, get some Twitter follows. And that's a good way to do it.
Yeah. No, and I don't disagree with that. I'm going to actually, let's see, I'm going to tweet something out here in a second. But it's a very good question. And the question would be, who's most likely? Now, Jamel Hill, again, Jamel Hill has no rules about what she does. She's just started this show on Vice.
She's got a new show to plug, yeah.
And she will literally say anything. She's a moron. So Rob Parker was another guy we brought up too. Rob Parker, who's with Fox now, but he's the one that called RG3 a cornball brother. And he's one of the guys, I think, that's questioned the blackness of of what's his name up in Seattle, Russ Wilson.
Okay.
So he could be an example of it. People kept saying Stephen A. I don't buy Stephen A. Stephen A's not that stupid, and Stephen A. really isn't woke. If you listen to some of his commentary, Stephen A. isn't what I would call hyper woke, super woke. Like, there'll be opinions where you go, okay, that's going to tick off black people. And if you say anything that's going to tick off black people, you automatically lose woke status. You're no longer woke at that point. So, like, you have to be someone who's 100% in and 100% anti-white and 100% down BLM. You have to be all the way on that side, like a Jamel Hill, like a Sean King. I think Shannon Sharp was plus 2,500. So he was a long shot.
Now, who's to say it won't be a player?
A player could too. That's right. Now, what player would be most likely? LeBron?
See, I'd say LeBron, except I think LeBron's like, screw it, I'm winning a championship.
Correct. Oh, you are 100% correct on that. So LeBron wouldn't be. It would have to be like, is Kyrie actually going to be there?
He's injured, so he's not going to be there.
Okay,
no.
so but Kyrie may say it from outside the
right,
bubble.
because he's the one that started the whole thing about not wanting to play to begin with. And
yep, you're
LeBron's
right.
wanted to play this whole time, I believe,
There's
right?
no way LeBron, knowing that he's got a chance to win a championship right now in this shortened season plus playoffs, LeBron's not going to go out and say something like that. He's going to put, are they still allowed to put whatever they want on the back of their jerseys? So he'll put like BLM, or he'll put the name of some guy that was shot by the cops or something. LeBron will do that. LeBron will not say it's like a plantation. It has to be somebody as a player who really doesn't have much to lose, right? And someone who's just kind of like whatever, shooting at the hip. And I don't really know enough about NBA players to tell you who that would be. Like, maybe now is Durant there?
No, I mean, he said he's done for the season.
Okay,
He's not
so
playing
Durant's
anyway.
not even going to show. So Durant could be that guy.
But that won't stop him from tweeting it or having a burner account tweet it.
Oh, that's true. Could very well be a burner account. I think that could be.
Or hell, it might be Rondo now. He's already angry with his nice little hotel room.
Yeah, that's the other thing. You just showed me that
That's
Rondo
ridiculous.
compared his hotel room to a Motel 6.
And you look at this room.
And I'm like, ain't no Motel 6 I ever seen, dude.
So it's probably to be Ron. We might be a few hours away from Rondo tweeting or Instagramming something about a plantation.
Somebody will. There will be comparisons to a plantation, except for the fact that this plantation has 5-star dining, has very nice rooms.
Personal chefs.
No one's getting their asses whipped by a slave owner or plantation owner. You've got the teacups, and I don't know if they're going to let them ride the rides
They
or not.
should. Why not?
Let them go out and golf. Let them go out and do whatever.
Now, what if like Tillman concocted a sinister plan to like give food poisoning to whoever the Rockets are playing? Like if they, advance with what is like the
That
play-in.
doesn't seem like a Tillman type of move. That seems like an Adam Clanton type of move. Now,
Huh?
maybe they send Clanton in there as a henchman.
Because like if Tillman's restaurants are delivering all the food.
Yeah, that could be.
Now, if they were playing the Warriors in like the finals of this bubble, then I think it would be very realistic.
Oh, well, at that point, yes.
But let's
I
say
don't know that Tillman would kind of be the mastermind behind it.
yes,
But he
let's
wouldn't be the
say-
one actually doing the poisoning.
Well, of course not. But you know what I mean. He would be
Yeah.
the mastermind, especially if they make it to the finals of this bubble, which I still haven't really paid attention to how it's going to work. I think, what are they playing for seeding first, and then they're going, or how does this work? Is it like
let's see.
the bottom 4 are playing for seeding or
I
something?
think so, yeah.
And then the rest are already locked in? I don't know. I haven't really paid attention.
Yeah, let me put that question out there for people. Will an NBA player or media member compare the NBA bubble to a plantation at any point? Thanks for the topic at, is that Lamont? Let me see. This is Lamont's Twitter.
Can't believe you don't know that.
Well,
Can't
he's
believe I
got
don't know that.
multiple Twitters, I think, is the problem. Let me look on my other computer before I mess up my tweet. Hold on. Let me see here. Let me go back to, speaking of that Motel 6, though. So this is the picture, right? This is the hotel room at
Yes.
Disney.
Click on it. You can enlarge it.
All right, let's see. So that's his room. Like, these guys are completely just out of touch with reality.
That's a very nice hotel room.
That is a solid hotel room. He's like, what is this Motel 6? It says Motel 6, hon, at NBA. Like, here's my problem with people. People always say know the room or know, whatever, right? Or read the room, know the vibe, whatever. These guys clearly have no concept of that. Because, like, people are out of a job. People are millions of people out of work. People are struggling. People are getting sick with the Rona, although not nearly as many as you might think. People are dying from the Rona. People are miserable. Like I wake up some days and I'm just like, I hate to be this guy. I just wish it was all a dream.
You were pretty miserable today.
I was miserable today. Like I woke up today and it was just one of those days that it hit me that I'm just sick of this shit. I'm sick of not having a damn job. I'm sick of like it being basically the same damn thing every day. I'm sick of having to put on a mask to go into stores. I'm sick of hearing about racial shit all day. I'm just sick of all of it at some point.
And now the heat doesn't help.
No, the heat makes it exponentially worse because it's that level of heat where no matter, I could lose 100 pounds right now and I will still feel fat and gross and awful, and my shirt will cling to me.
Yeah.
And it's just awful. Fat guys and heat do not mix. If it's cold, I'll live. Hot, it is miserable. It's just a miserable time, man.
Luther can't even walk on the parking lot because it's too hot.
Because it's
Those
too
kind of
damn
days.
hot.
Yeah.
I mean, and listen, this isn't just me complaining about my own situation. Everybody's got their own damn problems, and we get that everybody's got their own damn problems, and I feel for you. I feel for people that are having to deal with this shit right now, and I feel for people who are looking for work because I'm one of you. I wake up every day, man. Every day I go out and I'm clicking on these websites, and it's consumed my life. Like people think I'm on the like on my phone all day. Like you probably think I'm on my phone all day, just looking at shit. Like I can't put my phone down because in my mind somehow if I hold the phone for longer, somehow a job will be there.
Somehow.
Like if I could just put the phone down and zone out and just focus on other things, that'll be when a phone call comes and my agent says, "Hey, the ship has come in." But I'm like sitting there. It's kind of like when you don't have a girlfriend. You no one's interested in you, right? So you just sit around all day like, God, I just really want to have a girlfriend. Then you get a girlfriend, then people are like, hey man, I want to be your girlfriend too. Like, wow, what happened? You're hot, right? It's like this. Like if I just started ignoring the fact that I don't have a job, what I would end up with is like 1,000 calls would come in and I know it's fake, but it would feel like that. Like it would feel like it would turn things around. I just sit here every day consumed with these thoughts about this. And I can't be the only one. I feel like I'm part of the majority of people. I say the majority of those who are unemployed or had employment and lost it due to this, or like in my case, lost it and then really hurt their chances of getting another job due to the Rona. Oh, shit. Oh, geez. That's at political LM. POLIT. Ah, that's what I left out. I left out the other I.
Well, that'll do it.
That will do it. Let me see here. Is that an I? There it is. All righty. Now we're cooking with gas. Let's see. So the question I'm asking, will any NBA player or media member compare the NBA bubble to a plantation at any point? If so, let's see what people have. If so, who? Thanks for the topic, political LM. Let's see. If so, we are discussing now. And there you go. Thanks for the topic, Lamont. I have to include Lamont in that so they just don't think that some white guy's out here thinking of these things.
Yeah.
Will an NBA player or media member compare the NBA bubble to a plantation at any point? If so, who? We are discussing now. Thanks for the topic. All right. Now we roll. But I do think I speak for a lot of people when, you say that people are struggling, people are hurting financially. It just becomes frustrating. Like it is real. When people say that depression sets in from this kind of stuff, like that mental issues come from this stuff and that suicides will go up. Listen, I don't plan on offing myself at any point, right?
Well, you say it enough times.
Because I get so enraged.
I'm starting to kind of worry.
I get enraged and I'm just like, what's the point of living through all of this stuff? Like you think about these things, real talk, you think about this and you wonder if it's ever going to get better, if anything's going to emerge and be good, so you think about this all the time and it's tough. So like people, like I hate these people on the internet that scoff at the idea that we need to emerge from this to prevent people from dying of things other than COVID, because people are going to kill themselves. There are going to be people who lose their jobs, people who might lose their marriages, people who lose family members from this. People are going to end up depressed and people will die.
I'm
and these
sure
are the
there's
same
already...
people who are on the internet that are all about suicide awareness until it has to do with the COVID. Then it's like, well, that's not going to happen. You're just selfish and want to make money. Bullshit. I just want to get back to life, man.
I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure there are probably a good number of people that have already killed themselves over this, but that's not, newsworthy.
Of course,
Suicide
it will never be newsworthy unless they were bullied into killing themselves. That's the only time the media is going to care about any of that type of stuff, is if someone's bullied into it, man. And again, I'm not telling you that COVID's not real. I'm not over here like Cowboy Jerry West. Not Jerry West, but what's his name? The umpire, Joe West.
Joe West.
Cowboy Joe West. I'm not sitting over here basically spewing out that the thing's fake and everything like that and having the umpires union call me a lunatic, though. I mean, it's a frustrating time for a lot of people, man. And then no matter what you do, it's always going to be turned around to either you're a Trump supporter or you don't care if people die, which is the worst argument of them all. You don't care if people die. Well, it's not the truth. But people do have to live. And if they don't get busy living, they will get busy dying at some point. It's incredibly frustrating, man. And if it's frustrating for me and frustrating for you, I'm sure it's frustrating for millions of people out there. So it's just really easy for people to combat you saying, hey, people need to go to work with, you're putting commerce over lives. Well, no, but people do need to put their lives in order, and people do need to work, and people do need to start making, we need to advance at some point. It's like if you say, hey, maybe the kids can go to school because there's statistically a better chance of a kid dying in a car accident on the way to school than getting COVID and dying of COVID at school. Yet somehow it's, no, you don't care about our kids, do you? If you want kids to go back to school. I guarantee you there are far more parents out there who work jobs and would say, I need my kid back in school. You know why? Not just because I have a job and I need to work, but because my kids need to be in school. And statistically, they are far less, it's infantile, the percentage of likelihood it is that a young kid in school gets this and dies from it. They have a better chance of getting in a car accident on the way to school. And those are the things that frustrate me. But everything's political. Everything's back and forth. Everything is, it's this side or this side. Nobody can meet down the middle on anything. Like, let me give you an example, okay? So today I was listening to some audio earlier of Deshaun Watson. And Deshaun Watson was on a podcast with the basketball player fella, Carmelo, right? It was on a podcast.
The basketball player
the
fellow?
basketball playing fella, Carmelo Anthony.
Okay.
So I'm listening to this, and he's asking him what he expects from his owner, what his owner should do, what the owner of the Texans.
I thought we weren't using the term owner anymore.
I don't know if that's in the NFL or if that's just in the NBA. But he said, well, he's going to meet with the team, and, we're going to have some hard conversations, what we're going to have. And it's like, I don't know that there's any track record of Cal McNair being racist or a bigot or a terrible guy or anything like that. So, what does he have to explain to you what would he have to say to make you feel comfortable? And that led to a discussion today about the difference between actions and gestures. So an action is what you do every day and it's not provoked. Like how you treat your wife every day, how you treat your husband every day, how you treat your dog every day. Do you tell your wife you love her every day? Do you work hard to make money? These are actions. Gestures are what you do when you feel like you are kind of forced to do it based on circumstance, right? So, you don't care about flowers, right? But there's a lot of women that on Valentine's Day expect a gift on Valentine's Day. And if I want flowers, I want chocolates on Valentine's Day. You're not getting your wife a gift for Valentine's Day because you love your wife. You tell your wife you love her 364 other days of the year. You buy her the gift because it's Valentine's Day and it's expected. That is a gesture. That is not an action. That is a gesture. Taking a knee during the national anthem, for instance, that is a gesture. It is empty and it means nothing. And these players can tell you that it's causing change. It's not. It is a political gesture. That is all it is. And that is fine. Do it. I'm not a big national anthem guy. I've told you guys that before. If they did away with the national anthem, I wouldn't care. It doesn't impact my life, right? I don't know why they play the national anthem before every sporting event. Play it when we wake up in the morning. Play it at schools. Play it at movie theaters. Then we'll talk. But playing it before sporting events still seems very odd. But when it comes to a guy like the owner of the Texans, if this guy's never treated you poorly, never been a bad guy, never called you the N-word, never dumped on you, never deprived you of something, didn't elevate the white dudes over the black dudes, if that never happened, why does that guy have to go out to take a knee during the national anthem to prove anything to you? It's almost just, it's like, it's initiation. It's gang
think-
initiation. It's sorority or fraternity initiation. It's like, well, we don't know that you're really with us until you take a knee during the anthem. Well, when it's forced, like getting a gift on Valentine's Day, does it really matter? It's a gesture. It's
Right.
empty. Actions are real. Like if I treated you like shit all year long, but then Valentine's Day rolled around, and I'm like, well, here's chocolates. You wouldn't be like, boy, he sure loves me. You'd be like, no, he's kind of a piece of shit that treats me like shit. So likewise, conversely, if you've got an owner that treats you so well all the time, what is really going to be accomplished by him taking a knee or something like that? It's just a gesture, and it's empty, and it means nothing.
I think that falls under the white silence is compliance banner.
Okay.
So they don't want him to be silent because, again, now we live in a world where if you are silent, you're a racist.
But it's still but
It's
But
ridiculous,
it's not fair. It's not fair, and it's wrong, and it's bullshit.
So even though he said nothing and he hasn't done anything, he's being silent, and that somehow is now more offensive.
Here's what needs, but that which is bullshit. And you keep making the rules and keep moving the goalposts, and it's bullshit. It should be about what you do and who you are as a person. There shouldn't be one gesture I should be able to show you that's going to determine some public display of something or another that's going to confirm to you whether I'm a good person or a bad person. It should be my inner workings with you. It should be the dialogue that we have, and it should be the way I treat you on a day in, day out basis.
It should be, but unfortunately, Cal McNair doesn't have an Instagram, so we don't know if he would have changed his profile picture to a black box. So he's going to have to say something.
I'd like
Obviously.
the empty gesture stuff, and that's all everything is an empty gesture. You brought up changing to black boxes. That's an empty gesture. Singing Imagine is an empty gesture. This is what people do to keep themselves from having to do anything real. And the bigger issue is, though, people seem to fall for it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I thought you were a bad guy until you put up that black box, and now it shows that you're with us. It's bogus. It is all bogus. I've like Bob McNair. Like, here were their big issues with Bob McNair. Well, he was basically out of touch. And are you shocked that an 80-year-old white guy is out of touch with black dudes? Does that shock you? But would you really think that Bob McNair was a bad guy? And I told this story on the air, and I won't tell you who it was that contacted me. But you know, I was a big supporter of McNair during all that. I thought it was bullshit. I thought they treated him poorly. I thought the media was scummy about it. I thought it was gross the way McNair was treated during that, and I will defend him. Because the best examples they could give me is that he made some crack about not voting for Obama, and that he was uncomfortable with rap music and shit like that. Oh, and of course the inmates run the prison. Oh,
And
no,
the barbecue in the parking lot.
Yeah,
right?
like that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like he walked through and he didn't even stop. Well, he's an 80-year-old white guy. He probably doesn't relate to 20-something and 30-something-year-old black men. Shocker, right? But he's clearly a horrible person because he couldn't relate, right? So with the Bob McNair story, what that eventually becomes is he's a horrible human. And I defended the hell out of him. And I said, I don't know him on a personal level, but with all the shit that guy's done, and I've seen nothing to indicate that he's racist. Your only basis for that is that he's 80 years old, he's in the South, and he's white, and that's bigoted, and it's bullshit when you think that way. So I was reached out to by a guy that worked for the Texans. And I won't tell you who it was, but he's a black guy. He worked in their office, and I know him a little bit, and he sent me a message, and he said, listen, dude, I'm glad that you're one of the only people that would be willing to stand up and say that Bob McNair's not a bad guy, because at least he said, I'm a black guy. And he's never treated me poorly. He's never treated anybody poorly, and he's given me great opportunities in life. And the fact that people did this to it made us all sad, and it was bad. And I appreciate that you're one of the people that was willing to go out and defend Bob McNair. And I would still defend Bob McNair today, because what's happening is he fell victim to this world where if you don't agree with every single thing on one side or the other, you're clearly the opposite and you're clearly the enemy. And I was talking about this today. I was talking about Tucker Carlson, right? I don't particularly like Tucker Carlson, but there are some things he says that I go, okay, I agree with that. Other things I think he's a loon. Hannity, I by and large think he's a loon and untalented and awful. But if I agree with one thing Tucker Carlson says, does that mean I agree with everything he says? No, right? But that's kind of the way the world operates now. The world operates in this kind of bubble, to go back to that, this vacuum. And the way the world operates is that unless you're 100% on one side or the other, you're the enemy. And that's not good. And to bring it back full circle to the gestures, quote unquote, gestures versus actions, I feel as though with the number of minority friends I have, whether they be Hispanic, whether they be black, Nick is Egyptian, okay? So whatever you want to say, but I've got a bunch of friends that are, I sound like Trump now, great black friends,
God.
fantastic, but it's true. I feel like I've treated all of my friends wonderfully. and I haven't done anything wrong to them. Those are actions. So I don't know, like with Tank, who texted me at 6 a.m. yesterday, as we discussed. I don't know that Tank, who I've hung out with many times and I love, and every time we hang up the phone, we say, I love you, man. We have a great relationship together and we're friends. I don't know that Tank, and I do know that Tank wouldn't give a shit because this isn't the kind of platitudes that, or the gestures that Tank cares about. But if I would have changed my profile to a black box, it wouldn't have made Tank think any better of me. In fact, he might have thought worse of me. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's most people. But to bring it back to Deshaun Watson saying that, well, you know, we're going to have some hard conversations. Like, that just feels kind of like the stock answer that everybody gives to everything. You know, like, we're going to have some tough questions. Well, what does he have to answer to you? What has he done to you? What has Cal McNair done to Deshaun Watson that's so bad? What has he done that's so big? Basically, you're just holding it against him that he's, in his case, a middle-aged white guy with a mustache.
Who said
that's
nothing.
His crime.
Yeah.
Who said nothing. That's what you're holding against him. You're holding against him nothing. It's bullshit. It's absolute bullshit. But people are so afraid, and people are afraid of their own shadow. So what do people do? They're like, oh, I got to kowtow. I got to put my fist in the air. I got to take a knee. If you think taking a knee during the national anthem has changed shit, I got some oceanfront property for you, man, and it hasn't changed anything. You know what it's changed? It's helped guys like Colin Kaepernick get richer, and it's helped guys like Malcolm Jenkins get TV jobs on CNN. That's what taking a knee has done. Has taking a knee made life any better for any black person, any minority out there? Has it helped race relations at all? No. In fact, I'd argue it's divided people even more. And it's divided people even more now, in particular in 2020, because if you don't do it or you're against it, now it's not just that you disagree, it's that you're a racist, and that's dangerous, and it's bogus, and it's bullshit. Thank you very much. I will get off my my high horse on that one now. Who do I have to tell them about, Jelly?
Mac Knight Safety Solutions.
Mac Knight Safety Solutions. That's who we're going to tell you about. What business are they in, Jelly?
Safety.
You're damn right they're in the business of safety. Safety on the work site, baby. So basically what it comes down to is this. They are there to help you. Say you have a work site. They are there to make your life easier and bring you some comfort, right? So they're a safety staffing and consulting company located in Rosenberg, which is here in the Houston area. And they work nationwide on international projects. When companies have a temporary need for safety oversight on projects, they use the folks at Mac Knight Safety Solutions versus hiring their own people. But I can tell you this. One thing I like about it, they don't just stand around and go, be safe. No. They also work in industrial and commercial construction, oil field and manufacturing facilities. What do they do other than just saying, hey, be safe, guys? They also conduct facility audits for regulatory compliance and assist their clients with developing and maintaining comprehensive safety programs. How does that help you on the work site, right? Well, this aids them in obtaining work and reduces costs associated with workers' comp insurance and reduces employee risk and possible fines associated with non-compliance. How about that? Did I get you that one for you? Did I describe it well enough for you? 832-363-1295 is the phone number. 832-363-1295. They can help you anywhere in the country or nation, global. They'll help you out nationwide, international. Or go to their website, MacKnightSafety.com. All right, who's next?
Concrete Chemistry.
Concrete Chemistry. Let's see. Let me show you that picture of concrete chemistry. It sure is pretty. Let me see. No, speaking of sure is pretty, there's a picture of Jimmy Garoppolo as a woman. I need to get rid of that. I guess I need to get rid of it. But she is just so lovely. Hold on, I'm going to remove it now. Okay, goodbye, beautiful lady, man. But the folks over at Concrete Chemistry, what business are they in? The business is that of concrete and making it shiny, pretty, and beautiful, and wonderful. And they will do that for you, Concrete Chemistry. This isn't just, putting down a driveway, which is obviously a job that is necessary. But this is more for your commercial and industrial and retail floors, as you see there. Just shiny, beautiful resinous flooring projects, polished concrete floor systems for commercial, industrial, and institutional applications. And get this, in response to the Rona, they are going to do their job site walks virtually. And you can do that on their website. You can find out more information about that at concretechemistry.com. And they also can do it for you in your house. We talked about that the other day with Eric. Some people want to have that kind of industrial kind of look to their floor in their home, and they can do that for you as well. If that's what you're interested in, they can hook you up in Philly and Houston. It is the folks at Concrete Chemistry. The number is 713-497-4701. The president is Eric Daly. He's called the show before. Nice guy, wonderful guy, big member of GIST Nation, and we appreciate it. 713-497-4701 or concretechemistry.com. Do we have any more?
That's it.
That is it for today. We are all done with the commercializing today. And there you go. And we move on. Let me get Jilly back on the shot because that's who the people really want to see. Let's see, I need to delete some of this stuff. There we go. Now we're back in the saddle again. Today is a very weak Twitch day for some reason. I don't know why, but today is kind of a weak day in terms of the stream on Twitch in terms of viewers. One of the lower ones we've ever had. So don't know what I did wrong today. But at some point, I guess we can get back to having a more set time. I guess we were trying to do it here at 5 o'clock every
We've
day.
been pretty consistent these last 3 days.
Yeah, so we'll see. We'll see what happens. But anyway, thank you for the bits, Srilla Gorilla. Appreciate that. I always used to notice kids walking home from school in 100 degrees wearing pants and hoodies. Why is that? Because kids are stupid, I think would be a fair point. Let's see. Another thing that happened today, another one of these, I'd argue maybe the biggest story that's in sports currently right now is the fact that the Big Ten is going to limit their schedule to conference-only games. And that kind of broke during the show. During my show, it broke basically in the middle of the first segment of the show. And it's clearly just a money thing. Like, I know that we can sit here and talk about how it's noble. People try to use the Rona for everything now as a way to get out of stuff, as a way to get out of paying for stuff. Because, and I brought this up on the show today. We talked about like schools like Ohio State and Michigan and how they play dopey schools out of conference so they can, get rental wins, but they pay those schools millions of dollars.
Yeah.
I thought they paid them like $500,000. Dude, Ball State's going to play, or was supposed to play, Ohio State, and they were going to make $2 million. Damn near $2 million. And they won't, and that's going to cripple their athletic program. That's going to cripple them. It's going to be, and I wouldn't doubt that they sue. I don't know what their contract says, but I don't doubt that a school like Ball State sues Ohio State over that because that's a huge part of their income, and it will not be pretty. And you know that Ohio State's assuming they won't have to pay because Ohio State is doing this for the sake of saving money. They don't have to spend $2 million for two different games. They're going to save probably $3.5–4 million for losing or getting rid of two of these lousy out-of-conference games. But that said, they also lose a game against Oregon, which I find to be preposterous, by the way, because they're supposed to play Oregon. You tell me you can't travel to Oregon to play a football game, but if you're in the Big Ten, you can go from, say, Ohio State to Maryland or vice versa. I would imagine the distance is about the goddamn same. So it's a farce, and it's all about money. I'm curious to see what this leads other leagues and other schools to do.
Right, because
That's what I'm curious about.
If one does it, they're all going to have to follow suit, because if they don't, then they're horrible.
It's all money. Like, all of it's about money, but I'll tell you one thing that's not going to happen. I will put money on this. The SEC is not eliminating games. The SEC will play 12 games. And here's what should happen, too. If the Big Ten's going to do this and the Big Ten's only going to play conference games, and it's clearly a farce for money purposes because there's no reason why you can travel to Maryland, which is in the Big Ten, right? There's no reason you can do that but can't go to Oregon or Washington for a football game. It's all a farce, and it's all bullshit, and it's all to save money. If they should be punished based on, at least in the voting and all that for the college football playoff, they should be treated differently. You play 10 games, you should be treated differently than a team that plays 12. And by that, I mean when people look at this and people start to build the committee starts to build a resume for teams. Dude, Ohio State's losing a marquee out-of-conference game against Oregon.
Yeah.
Michigan's losing a marquee out-of-conference game against Washington. Those don't exist anymore. So while they're also losing games against Ball State and Akron, they're also losing games like their one marquee out-of-conference game. So let's say the Big 12 and SEC still play their full schedule. LSU should get a huge benefit, even if an LSU or a Texas, one of those schools that loses in that game, and say one of them goes 11-1 and their only losses to that team, or they go 10-2 but one of the losses there, they should be viewed differently than these Big Ten schools that are playing nobody and playing themselves, and the Big Ten largely stinks anyway, so they should be treated differently for that.
So they're not going to add games from within the Big Ten. They're
just 10
wiping
games.
them out.
Instead of 12, they're playing 10 games. So all you have to do to be considered for the college football playoff is go 10-0, where in the SEC, which isn't as strong as it used to be, but I still find it to be the strongest league there is, you're going to have to play 12 games. The Big 12 has to play 12 games. Pac-12 has to play 12 games at this point until somebody changes something. Who knows? Maybe these other leagues will follow suit and they'll only play 10 games. They won't play 12.
Yeah, I don't know how you can be. I know the whole system was already kind of unfair and kind of wacky as it was, but now it's like, so Oregon's got their game canceled. So they're going to have one less game than other people in the Pac-12.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So then how is that fair? Because they're playing one less game. So nothing's equal. You can't judge these schools equally at this point.
No, and I heard Matt, because I was texting with Matt, and he said, listen to my first segment of the show, or listen to some of my show on your way home, because I was texting him about this. And he's one of these guys who wants them to get rid of the rent-to-win games altogether, and I agree with that. I think they're pointless. If they're going to play 12 games, I'd rather see them play 2 games against better opponents to make sexy matchups than, LSU versus Northwestern or Nichols or Arkansas State or something like that, and I agree. But in this given year, and maybe they all will, maybe the SEC will say the same thing. Maybe they'll all do this. Maybe the SEC will say, well, instead of spending, $10 million or $2 million for LSU to host Nichols, I don't know who's on their schedule this year, but Northwestern State, somebody like that, instead of giving them $2 million, we're just going to eliminate these 2 crappy games. But it's important to note that when you do that, you also eliminate, potentially in that case, a game against Texas, which is a huge moneymaker, a huge game. That's a huge LSU home game, which is already going to be negatively impacted because Texas comes there this year. And my guess is they won't have full stadiums. So you're already going to lose money from that too. But if other leagues are playing 12 and one league is paying 10, when people vote in this committee for the college football playoff, that has to be taken into consideration.
And like I said, depending on the matchup, you've got some teams in the same conference playing 10 and some playing 11, some playing, it's all over the place.
I'm fascinated by how teams and leagues and sports determine, what is going to be unhealthy and what's going to be dangerous versus what's not. Like I saw one of the rules of the NFL will be that they can't trade jerseys after games.
Right.
Oh, you can't trade jerseys, but dudes can lay on top of you and tackle you. Or one of them was that the coaches that sit up in the booth, get this one, I found this one to be absurd. So the coaches that sit up in the booth do not have to wear masks. Yet when they leave the booth, they have to wear a mask. So you're up there, every time when you see a shot of a booth, one of these press boxes, and you see the coach's box when they show them, usually there's like the offensive or defensive coordinator that's got his, headset on.
Yeah, there's a good
and he's
number
got his tobacco cup and he's spitting tobacco or spitting seeds. My guess is that spittle's going everywhere. These coaches are yelling, spit's flying everywhere. They're high-fiving each other. So you mean to tell me that's fine? Because keep in mind, football is also not going to be in a bubble as far as we know. These guys are going to go home, live their lives, and come back. So that's considered safer than trading jerseys with someone.
That doesn't make any sense.
I don't care that they eliminate trading jerseys. I think it's a dumb tradition anyway that I don't really understand or care about.
Aren't they talking about making the players wear face masks too?
And at that point, I wouldn't want to play.
I believe that's what J.J. Watt said. That if that happens, he's not playing.
I wouldn't want to play.
Yeah.
And you could say, Josh, it's millions of dollars. I'd be that almost feels dangerous to me.
Right.
Like I played football for a little bit as a kid for a couple weeks before I broke my wrist and I realized I hated it. But one thing I realized about it is a helmet is a pretty claustrophobic thing already. Now, these guys are used to it. They've spent their whole life, so it's different for them, and helmets are much nicer and better than they were 20 years ago. But imagine a helmet which is already claustrophobic, mixed with shoulder pads that kind of bulk you up. You're like this. Then you put the face mask on underneath it. That sounds... I'm not about that life.
Awful.
I would want no part of that. You think about playing football... The first thing you want to do is take your helmet off because you feel like you're getting more air with your helmet off, right? So there's some claustrophobia involved in having a helmet. Imagine putting a face mask. It just sounds like a miserable experience, especially early in the season in some of these places where it's hot. I would not want to do that if I were a player. I don't blame players for doing that. And I wouldn't want to do it. Like, baseball is one thing, and I wouldn't want to wear a mask out in the field in 100 degrees. Think about it today. Let's imagine that this was an outdoor field here in Houston. You had to wear a mask today.
Nope.
It feels like it's 110 degrees. I don't care who you are. People will start complaining. Players are inevitably going to complain about this.
They'll probably pass out, too.
Oh, I wouldn't doubt it. I 100% wouldn't doubt that. I 100% agree with you.
Are you excited about the release of the 2021 MLB schedule?
No.
That seems really dumb to even release that right now.
You know what I am ticked about, by the way, and I guess I got to try to cancel this. They're charging full price for the MLB package.
Cancel that before they start, because once it starts, you're billed.
I am going to cancel that. I got to figure out how to do it. Like, listen, I'd like to watch the Cardinals, I guess, but it's a 60-game season, and I can just listen to it on my app on my phone. I don't need to watch it.
Yeah, you need to make sure to do that, because they're probably going to start charging here in the next week or two.
Think of the nerve of these assholes, though. Like, you look at a couple of the things that I've been seeing. One, so the Rockets are trying to sell these $25 packages where you can watch an online basketball tutorial, like Calvin Murphy will show you how to shoot free throws, right? I ain't spending $25 to watch a Tommy Mansky, the drills video. But that's what you're going to start seeing more of, is these teams are going to start trying to find new ways to generate revenue, because they obviously haven't been generating revenue. So they're going to be looking for new ways to do so. So when you get stuff like this, you'll get teams trying to charge $25. And Tillman seems like he'd be the worst about it. This cheap motherfucker will do anything.
Oh, he's going to get his, though, with that Landry's deal at Disney, though.
You would think, but he's also going to pass the Rona on to a bunch of people, but, whatever. But you look at a guy like Tillman, it's like, how do we make money? Well, let's have some people spend $25 to watch dopey instructional videos. And Joel brought this up today, and his point was very fair on this, was it'd be one thing if you were getting like a specialized lesson, like that you sent your video to Calvin Murphy and he watched you and said, hey, here's what's wrong with your form. You're literally just watching a generic video that everybody's going to be watching with no personalization or anything.
I believe Bregman did that for kids for free.
He did, actually. You're right.
Yeah. Like, he's like, send me your stance or whatever, and I'll give you some tips.
But MLB should really just punch itself in the penis for charging people full price for the baseball package.
Yeah, you got to cancel that tonight.
I want to say it's pathetic. I get that you got to find ways to make money.
Because once they charge your card, they're not going to refund you this year.
Yep.
You got to jump out ahead of that.
Yep. 97.5 has more watchers than GIST right now. Boy, what's happened to us? We've really fallen off a cliff. Yeah, I don't know what happened. I think what I'm thinking could have happened, and this does happen on occasion, a lot of people don't get the notifications. And I got to talk about it. There's like this again, these people didn't leave. These people were here yesterday.
Right.
So, but boy, I'm pretty amazed by that, though. It's just like this happens once or twice, maybe once a month, twice a month on this, where the alert doesn't go out until later, and then you end up getting like these are just like the hardcore people that are always kind of lurking around to see what's going on. That would be my guess.
Well, did they get notifications, or did they just find us?
The thing is, some people get notifications and some people don't. It's weird how it works. Sometimes, I guess, I don't know how the notifications work. Do some people get them in their email? Do they go to spam?
I think you can choose how you want to get them.
Well, I see this. MW Soulgrove says a lot of people work until 5. Yeah, but the same thing yesterday, we had double the number of people we have right now. So, like, I see the number of people who are on here. So something is up there. But we'll see.
Or they're just sick of your shit.
I don't think that's true. I don't know what it would have been that was yesterday that they finally decided, you know what? This bullshit's got to stop. This needs to stop now. And then other people are complaining about the time that we started doing it at 5 o'clock. I mean, we can go back to doing it later. I mean, we can do it at 7 Central. I mean, that's possible. Or 6 Central. I mean, that's also possible. But we'll see how it goes tomorrow.
It's more difficult now to set a time with you working, because sometimes you get home like right at 5. Sometimes you're home at 4:20. It's hard to set a specific time with you with these hours.
It is.
2 to 4 is a strange one to work around.
It is. It is. I agree with that. But it's
it also honestly kind of sucks for us when you do get home at like 4:30, and then we're just waiting around till 8 o'clock to do a show.
No, I get that.
And then you've got that kind of like, not that like it's a chore or anything, but it's like, okay, can't really relax yet. Okay, I got to keep my bra on.
Mm-hmm. No,
can't get comfy till 9:30 at night. Like, that kind of sucks. So it's hard to kind of find that right time.
Yeah, I think. And we also haven't really promoted that we've been doing it at 5 either.
I also don't know if sports do start, how much that would affect us or not.
I don't know. I don't know that it would. And we've talked about this. If I do get a job, depending on what time that job is, maybe the show is done at, maybe we do the podcast even earlier in the day. Maybe the podcast is at...
if you're working like 3 to 7, maybe we do it at like 11 in the morning.
Yeah, 11 or noon. It could be one of those things.
But 2 to 4 is tough.
My feeling on this today would be that this the number of people on Twitch has nothing to do with people just saying screw this or people being busy or anything. I just think some people must not have gotten the notification. Like Old Greatness says, Twitch doesn't send me notifications. I found out the show was live from Periscope and then I go to Twitch. Some people do that, you know? So I don't know. I don't know what the reason is for that, but, or maybe we just push it to 6, you know, maybe it's at 6 our time. I don't know. We get home, hang out for an hour and then do the show at 6, eat, take Luther out once the sun goes down a little bit. Maybe that's the answer.
I don't know. I don't really want to cook at 7 o'clock at night, to be real with you.
No, I understand that.
It's just there's so many things that play into it. Maybe I'm the bitch here, but I don't want to start cooking at 7 o'clock and then I'm not eating dinner till like 7:45, 8 o'clock. People make fun of me, but I like to eat dinner at like 6.
No, I got that. I understand. Yeah, just an odd one today. I could just blame it on the Rona. Maybe the Rona's the answer. Maybe that's it. But we'll see. We'll find it. And again, it depends on really, you know, what happens here in the coming months. If we have a job or not, that will also determine what we do on Twitch. But I know it wasn't that long ago. We were pumping them out. And even, you know, yesterday. I mean, we got into the hundreds yesterday. So, but we'll see. Things got to grow anyway. It's got to build up anyway. And we need to get to that. So we'll see. Anyway, we don't have any more commercials, right?
No.
We have no more commercials. We have nothing else. We have nothing else for you people. There we go. So, anyway, so what do we have planned for the rest of the evening?
Well, I got to make dinner.
Well, you guys need to watch F is for Family on Netflix if you don't. If you guys don't watch F is for Family, you're missing out because it's a wonderful show. And it's a wonderful show that you should watch, and it's funny and amazing.
It might be funnier than Big Mouth. We've
It may
raved
be.
about Big Mouth on this show before, but as far as especially like cartoon things and actually shows in general, F is for Family is hilarious.
It's a really good show, and I would watch that. I think if I were you, I'd watch that. Big Mouth is also brilliant, but it's a different kind of show. But I think this show is fantastic. If you're interested, a country music station in Columbia, Missouri is hiring a PD. Yeah, I'll go do that. That sounds like a plan. Thank you, Old Greatness.
We're not picky, but that's just ridiculous.
Well, that's also a job I'm not qualified to do.
Yeah.
So
I didn't mean the town was ridiculous. I meant the job qualifications.
Columbia, Missouri is probably a nice little town. But, you know.
Yeah, you got over being picky a long time ago.
Yes. Philly loving Bill Burr just because he trashed them just blows my mind. It wouldn't blow your mind if you knew Philadelphia. They're weird masochists, and they hate themselves as much as they love themselves. It's a really weird time. Just a weird group of people. But anyway, let me say goodbye to the podcast side. There we go. Let's see. Still debating on doing a Saturday show or not. Might have to, because we might have to call Bobo. He can show us his new shirts. There's always that. Let's see here. You're right, Josh. I am right. I am totally right about the Philly people. I can tell you that. Let's see here. What was our main thing today?
The bubble plantation thing.
Oh, the NBA bubble plantation. There we go. That'll be a nice one.
Now you've won. Now you're the first media member to bring up the NBA plantation comparisons.
Yep.
There's a trick question.
Yep. The correct answer is me. Who bet on me?